Good morning, everyone. We will now begin the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters, asking God and Meishu-sama to protect and bless us as we participate today in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. Takamahara ni kamuzumarimasu. Kamurogi kamurami no mikoto moshite. Sumemi oya kamurizana no mikoto. Tsukushi no rimuka. Tachi hana no hodo no awagi harani misogi harai tamo utoki ni narimaseru. Harai no kami tachi moro moro no magagoto sumi kegare o. Harai tamai kiyome tamae tomao sukoto no yoshi o. Amatsu kami kunitsu kami yao yorozu no kami tachi tomo ni ame no uchi koma no mimi kuritate te kikoshi mese no kashikomi mumaosu. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Oshie miyoya mushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Oshie miyoya mushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Kom nagara tamashi haemase. Kom nagara tamashi haemase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truths given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us, radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now receive Group Johrei.
God the Meishu-sama bless.
Johrei is now concluded.
Desculpa aí pelo telefone.
We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. The great law of nature. The great universe, all its stars and planets, exists in perfect balance because each and every part moves in accordance with divine order. Nature, its great, majestic beauty, is the silent, priceless teaching of the Supreme God. People once thought of conquering nature, but instead were conquered themselves before they could even realize what nature had accomplished. All of creation has the potential to bring pleasure to humanity. Think of the flowers in spring, the colors of autumn, the scenic beauty of mountains and rivers, the loveliness of moonlight nights, and the comfort of hot mineral springs. God has provided all these things for our enjoyment and given us the senses with which to enjoy them. Since God has done all this, to turn away from the abundance God offers, to deliberately attempt to exist on only the barest necessities, is contrary to God's wishes. I do not believe in asceticism. I live an ordinary life, like other people do, for I believe this is in harmony with God's will. Paradise on earth will be a world in which the lives of all human beings will be elevated in every way, and all kinds of fine art and entertainment will make great progress. Our purpose is to create a world full of truth, virtue, and beauty. The ascetic way of life may be full of virtue, but it lacks truth and beauty.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters. This morning, the faith experience I would like to share with you is from Luisa Maria Cardoso Gomes Segurado Urbano. She's from the Lisbon Johrei Center, Portugal. A neighbor of Luisa, who regularly greeted her when they were in the elevator, knocked on her door, offered her a flower, and said, "For a better world." Despite not knowing anything about the Johrei movement and never having heard of it, Luisa got the message. Time passed, and one day later, the neighbor invited Luisa to her house, saying that she would be very happy if Luisa paid a visit. That would be a very important day for her and for her husband. Luisa didn't hesitate and right away said yes, that she would. When she arrived at the neighbor's home, she came across an altar, different from those she used to see in the Catholic Church. There were several people present, and two gentlemen whom she heard were called ministers. Later, she learned that a home altar dedication had just taken place. She was curious and wanted to know every detail about the ceremony. What were the offering containers? And what they were there for? Why the clapping of hands 3 times? What were they doing with their hand raised? And if she could explain why she felt an intense heat and accelerated heart beating during the ceremony. Thereafter, her neighbor said that every Wednesday she would be available to receive her if she wanted to. Luisa thought, oh, why not? She was curious, what was it in that house that made me feel so good? She started going to the neighbor's house every week to receive Johrei. Then suddenly, she found herself with a feeling of friendship and affection for the neighbor and her husband. As the Wednesday's Johrei gatherings continued, Luisa felt continually better. For about 28 years, Luisa took antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication, sometimes more, sometimes less. She regularly visited a psychiatrist and had psychological counseling, all because Her daughter had died at birth of congenital heart disease. In talking to her neighbor regarding this situation, Luisa learned that what she went through was a big purification. She always believed in the existence of the spiritual world, but nobody had ever explained anything to her about it. Luisa kept asking many questions, searching the internet about our church and who Meishu-sama was. Since she had never heard of it before, she began her search by diligently reading Meishu-sama's teachings. She reasoned that all teachings made sense. Thus, she made a firm decision to become a Johrei member. She took the membership course and made effort to fulfill the assignments she received. On the eve of the Ohikari presentation ceremony, she received a big blessing. When she removed her contact lenses, she put a drop of fluid in her left eye. This drop did not enter the eye and run down her face. When she wiped her face, she realized it was an oily fluid that she had switched containers. If the wrong drop got into her eye, it could have caused blindness in her. Immediately, she thanked God and Meishu-sama and realized that it was a sign that she was on the right path. This fact made her even more anxious about waiting for the next day. And so it was. Her husband, who is not a member, and he has always done through her married life, joined her in the ceremony and participated in her Ohikari presentation with great joy. Luisa is very thankful to God and Meishu-sama for the blessings she received, and to her neighbor, who constantly assisted and led her to the path of faith to our movement. And I want to share with you one more experience. This one is from Alice Talita Pereira. She is from the Pinhais Johrei Center in Paraná, Brazil. Alice is 6 years old and received the child locket, Shoko, in February of last year. When she was 4 years old, she didn't like receiving Johrei. One day there was a small wound on her chin that increased in size significantly. She itched and the wound hurt a lot. Her mother took her to the doctor, who diagnosed an infection caused by a fungus. Then small wounds appeared on her body. She received Johrei daily with her parents and at the Johrei Center, but the purification continued. One day she asked to receive Johrei with the minister. During the Johrei channeling, a lot of pus came out of the wound, which she had to dry it with facial tissues. The next day, the wound was healed, with only a dry scab, which disappeared after some time. After that, she began to love receiving Johrei, and now that she has the child locket, she also loves to channel it to her family members. Alice gives service cleaning the Johrei Center, and with her parents on Fridays, she likes to help making mini banas, small flower arrangements. She participates in all monthly services and was blessed to visit the sacred grounds of Guarapiranga. Alice really enjoys praying the Amatsu-Norito and our other prayers. Her biggest dream is that all people on our planet become Johrei members and that they never drop out from their membership. She's very thankful to God and Meishu-sama. That was a very cute, very nice experience from Alice of Pinhais Johrei Center, Paraná, Brazil. Thank you very much for listening to these experiences, participating in this morning service. Have a wonderful day.
This brings to a conclusion of our morning service. Thank you everyone for joining us and have a blessed day.